Hi there, I'm Manked, now known as Mod Manked, and I'm here to introduce you to Deadman Armageddon. So, what is Deadman mode? Well, it's a limited time game mode where your progress is significantly sped up. The economy is completely reset and everyone starts from scratch. You're offered various choices throughout your gameplay which will help you access endgame content a lot faster than usual. There are several different reasons to play. You can PvP, because a lot of the map is in a dangerous area. You could PvM or skill, which is especially lucrative due to the fresh economy. You might just want to experience the game in a completely different light as a result of gameplay changes. Or, for the first time ever in Deadman, hunt the cosmetic rewards that you can bring over to your Old School RuneScape account, which are unlocked through points. Some players may spend the 2-week period solely preparing for the finale, as it is one of the most competitive multi-combat events that currently exists in Old School. I'm sure some of your favourite content creators would love to have you on their team, although you'll hear more about all of this later. Now, when does this all kick off? On the 19th of July at 5 PM BST, Deadman Armageddon will begin. When the worlds are open, you can play by simply choosing a Deadman Armageddon world and logging in with your Old School account. If you already have a permanent Deadman account, or you played Deadman Apocalypse, you'll need to talk to Nigel in the Lumbridge graveyard before trying to log in to Deadman Armageddon. You'll have 2 weeks to progress your account and pursue any achievements you're looking to make. The worlds will close at midday on the 2nd of August, with the finale commencing on the 3rd of August at 6 PM, although participants will be able to log back into the worlds at 5 PM to prepare for the end. Now, if you did play Deadman Apocalypse last year, you might be wondering what will be different in Deadman Armageddon. There are so many changes we've made to make your experience more enjoyable, such as introducing new sigils, new blighted overloads, prayer meta shifts, new breach monsters, new breach event types, new metas to obtain points, new corrupted weapons, a whole other bunch of new things, and a humongous amount of balancing changes. This Deadman is going to be the best Deadman we've seen yet, while also being the most welcoming to new players that have never given Deadman a go. I urge you to log into Deadman and just see what happens. You have an entire hour at the beginning where absolutely nobody can attack you, so you can at least test the waters. We asked 8 different creators to help break down each aspect of Deadman, from lower brackets to escaping PKs to PvMing and everything in between. Let's see what they have to say.
Hello, my name is C Engineer, former rank 1 in Deadman mode, alongside with every other content creator, and I'm here to tell you everything about early progression and unlocks. Follow along in this video and maybe you too will be rank 1 one day. However, ultimately it depends on what are your goals. You might go for points, GP, PKing or PvMing, and whatever you prefer, you will need a strategy. This Deadman mode's auto unlocks with each combat bracket will get you to your desired goal faster. Grab a starter pack in Lumbridge, start shooting NPCs with your starter staff while doing the classic waterfall quest and fight arena, and by the time you have finished the quest you should be 51 combat and can enter the 51 to 70 combat bracket worlds. The quest XP multiplier makes quest XP rewards insane and something worth doing. And if you didn't get your desired combat after the quest, then the 10x combat XP multiplier should get you there within minutes. Reaching the 51 to 71 combat worlds auto unlocks add the gloves from Recipe for Disaster and the choice between the Fremnik storyline that gets you the Lunar Spellbook and all the Fremi helms, or the Elf storyline that unlocks Crystal Shield, Crystal Bow, and Zulrah. But that's not all. Reaching the 51 combat bracket world increases your drop rate multiplier from 2x to 3x. Boosted drop rates equals to boosted GP equals to faster progression. This is how you get rank 1. At 71 combat, your XP multiplier increases from 10x to 15x. If you get to 111 combat, the drop rate multiplier increases to 4x, which means you are more likely to hear the sound collection log slot completed when PvMing. Progression is subjective. You might want to progress to combat level 70 and then stay in the 51 to 70 bracket because you feel more safe there, while still being able to obtain good points and loot while in that bracket. This type of progression will be quick to achieve for someone that doesn't have much time to play, but still be great for obtaining points for the cosmetic rewards. On the road to 111 combat, you will auto unlock a lot of quests, and picking the right ones are very important for your style of play. At 71 combat, everyone auto unlocks 7 quests quest, but the notable one is Monkey Madness 1 for the Dragon Scimitar. Are we picking the Gnome storyline that unlocks Monkey Madness 2 for Zenites and arguably the spot with the fastest range and mage XP in the game, the Monkey Cave? Or are we picking the Myrat storyline for the ancient spellbook that's a must if you want to do well in the finals? At Night 1 combat you automatically complete more quests for a Dragon Glove upgrade, and the choice between the Desert storyline for Tombs of a Mascot unlock or the Merc storyline for Theater of Blood. And of course the final bracket world, starting at 111 combat you finally get to auto unlock Barrow's Gloves, Piety Prayers, and the option between Dragon Slayer 2 or Secrets of the North. Do you want to kill Vorkat or Phantom Muspa at max combat? The choice is now in your hands. Good luck, and I wish you to never hear the sound dying on my Hardcore Iron Man completed while playing Deadman mode Armageddon.
Hey guys, my name is Khazard. You may recognize me as one of the solo mission snakes in the recent Deadman All-Stars event. Today I'm actually here to talk to you about PvMing in the upcoming Deadman Armageddon. On the Deadman Armageddon servers you'll experience a significant drop rate boost depending on which bracket you're in, starting at double in the 3 to 50 bracket and scaling all the way up to 4 times for the max bracket. The drop rate boost combined with the high demand combined with the insane swapping rates, honestly it's just a recipe to make bank. Now if you're anything like me, you'll love nothing more than to take down home and see that you managed to snag a purple. And you'll hate the next part with a passion when you inevitably open the chest and it's another arcane prayer scroll. Well guess what? Gone are the days of worthless toilet paper scrolls. Augury is actually a super important unlock for PvP, meaning these scrolls are going to be in huge demand, especially now that the defense level requirement is gone from these prayers. Prayer scrolls are always going to be a huge money printer, but between all 3 raids, you also have some other important drops like Claws, Ancestral, the Avernic Defender Hilt, and Missouri Pieces. If you manage to snag the mega rare Twisted Bow, Scythe, or Shadow, you might want to consider bringing them along with you to speed up those raid times. You might be wondering, Deadman only lasts for 2 weeks. How am I gonna get my account ready for bossing? Well, remember that corrupted weapons are gonna be available from day 1, and they're even stronger than last season. Getting your combat stats up won't be a problem either. Even quest XP is multiplied. More importantly, sigils. Sigils will provide a huge boost in power and make bossing much more approachable to everyone. Yeah, even you. Sigil of Meticulousness, 75% accuracy boost in all styles. Sigil of Restoration, heal 10% of any damage you deal. Don't forget this is Deadman. Be very cautious when going in between raids. If you can, try to scout out the area first. It helps to have friends, but it's not a requirement. Trust me. PvMing isn't just about raiding though. Unique drops aside, there's also Deadman points on the table. Every single boss has Deadman points to offer. It's important to remember that your first kill at a boss is going to give you a 10 times multiplier on the points rewarded. However, after 75 kills, you'll only receive 10% of the base points. You'll earn 1,000 points just for getting your first fire cape, or 450 just for slaying all 3 Dagannoth kings for the first time. On the other hand, you'll only get a measly 2 points for your 76th Zulrah kill. This system means there's a large incentive to go around and dip your toes at a large variety of bosses, rather than just camp at the same few forever. You'll also notice that harder content isn't necessarily the best for farming points. Killing just 18 Sarachnis is going to give you just as many points as doing a Chambers in challenge mode. If you want to take advantage of the 10x multiplier on your first kill for every boss, then don't forget that a lot of them are going to be locked behind Slayer. Speaking of the Slayer skill, uniques like the Whip, Occult, and even Black Mass are always going to have demand in Deadman mode. Best of luck, I hope you guys have fun this season.
Hey guys, it's Katerena, and I used to stream PurePKing. I love Deadman mode. I love the low level brackets the most. I love to smoke noobs and ruin people's days to feel better about myself. Wait, am I allowed to say that? If you're not someone like that, then maybe this bracket could also be for you, and here's why. You can play slowly, you don't need to rush to the end, and it's got the safest combat levels with a 10 times XP multiplier. This bracket will most likely only be dangerous the first few days, so if you're a filthy casual and can only play a few hours a day and want to get points more casually, maybe stay within these levels. Remember, points for damage on a breach monster is the same in any bracket, so playing at a lower level can still get you a lot of points if you're willing to fight off breach monsters with other players around. Now, if you die in the first few days in this bracket, don't worry, you can rebuild fast by doing the agility pyramid, as it is 30,000 GP reward every time you reach the top. Here's some things you should know. With this Deadman mode, you can lock your XP with Nigel and Lumbridge, or at the Deadman loot chest scattered at safe zone banks. For example, if you want want to get more points, you can lock your combat skills, level your Slayer up, and do Kraken early, getting 15 points per kill. Another fun new addition this year is fairy rings are unlocked in the very first bracket now, so players can teleport with fairy rings if they claim their drum and stuff from a combat tutor in Lumbridge. But you only get one, so if you lose it, you're gonna have to obtain it yourself the second time and chop the tree in the Lost City area. Now, for the first time in Old School RuneScape's history, players can use Chivalry, Rigor, and Augury at 1 defense. Let me tell you a secret build I want to do. 62 magic, 40 attack, 53 strength, 62 ranged, 45 prayer. This build would only be 50 combat level. It would also give players access to the Corrupted Dragon Claws, Corrupted Volatile Nightmare Staff, Corrupted Dark Bow, Rune Crossbow, Prayer Overheads, and Snare Spell. And it doesn't require them to do any non-HP training methods, which I love. I'll be using this build with fun sigils such as the Sigil of Restoration, where health is regened by 10% per successful attack, which is perfect for my low hit points. Sigils such as Porcupine, Ruthless Ranger, and Menacing Mage are all nerfed in the 3 to 50 combat level bracket. Porcupine will also be nerfed in the 51 to 70 combat level bracket. This will make surviving a little bit easier for players considering those sigils were quite OP and powerful last Deadman mode. Lastly, I have saved the best twist to this bracket. There will be a finale for the level 45 to 50s for $3,000. I want to watch all the best pures compete. I know I'll be competing and probably losing.
Yo everybody, I am JCW, or some of you may know me as JCB from Deadman All-Stars, where I played on the Bodhi Burgers. I love skilling. I most recently completed the world's fastest Ironman max cape in less than 1600 hours. And in the Deadman Apocalypse last year, I was the first player to max just 9 days after release. So who better to tell you about skilling this upcoming Deadman than myself? As you would expect from a Deadman mode, PvP is enabled almost everywhere. Even if you don't PvP, this game mode can still be a great opportunity for you. Skillers are needed. The PKers wouldn't really have any supplies without us. Think of all of the chins needed for them to level up on day 1, or the food from Temple Ross so they have something to eat. You can make supplies in safe areas. Imagine smithing cannonballs in Falador, where you never have to worry about being attacked, yet you can still make a profit for the tryhards rushing Slayer. Or we could look at the herbs entering the game through PvM. More than likely, the PvMers aren't going to train herblore. They'll dump the herbs in the GE, and you can grab them and likely train at a profit, because who doesn't want to use potions? Not to mention, in this Deadman, for the first time ever, there are going to be blighted overloads. If you rush 83 herblore for these, they will likely sell for a lot. Your GP may be lost on death, but swapping is allowed. So if you make 1 mil from camping in a safe area, while it is done at your own risk, you can trade it over for some permanent OSRS GP. Skilling and supply gathering is easier on Deadman than the main game. There are skilling sigils. Look at woodcraft for example. While you chop logs, they are instantly turned into planks, which people are going to want for a good POH. Don't think runecrafting has too much potential to profit because of how slowly you get runes? What if I told you there was a sigil for 5 times the runes? Or another sigil for 3 times the resources while mining something like runite? A lot of people seem to forget this, but level ups in Deadman are actually permanent. At the end of the 2 weeks, all of your stats are transferred to the main Deadman world. It is infinitely easier to level up in these seasonal Deadmans due to the sigils and a permanent 10 times XP rate. Whereas World 345 only has 5 times the XP rate and no sigils. So challenge yourself, get as close to max as you can. Or of course, if you can, even finish it. You never know if you'll be the only one with access to Max Cape Island. Finally, don't forget, the points you earn from playing Deadman can be used to buy cosmetics in the main game. These have had a massive increase, where you gain 10 points per level, making the ability to obtain cosmetic rewards viable solely by skilling. So if you don't want to PvM or PvP, go on and train your stats. Stay in safe areas when you want, keep low risk, and try out areas in the game nobody might think of to check. You'll be okay.
Hello my friends, I'm Skillsmix and I'm here to give you some tips on surviving the Deadman mode Armageddon. Before we begin, you need to know where you're safe and where you should be keeping your wits about you at all times. Most safe zones are large towns such as Varrock, Valador, Lumbridge Castle, Arjagone and the Tree Gnome Stronghold. There are some strange exceptions for this in the large towns, such as the suspect Varrock to the Grand Exchange Pass, so it is best to know what icon means you're safe and which icon means you're about to become someone's next meal. Now that you know where you can be attacked, let's talk about how to minimize the chances of dying if you do become someone's prey. Firstly, you should always bring some food in your inventory and some runes to freeze players. Sometimes early game runes can be very pricey, so remember, you can use blighted supplies everywhere on Deadman mode, and they can be bought from the emblem trader in the Grand Exchange. Now that our inventory is looking good, should we be attacked, it's best to make sure the bank is just as ready. I'm going to make sure to put my food and potions in the most easy to click spot upon opening my bank. Honestly, you can get hit for some time, so it's nice to have a good supply of fish at hand. Okay, now that the bank's ready and the inventory's prepared, I'm going to give you a scenario where we've just gotten a Wilderness Slayer task and we're going to farm some emblems for the trader. I've been assigned scorpions, not a bad task, very fast and has a good chance at dropping the emblem I'm after, but it is pretty far from the bank. I have a few options if I do get hit. As I know the location I'm going to, I can prepare and get a chaos talisman. If I get hit at any point in the task, I can instantly phase into the rock and just teleport to safety. Or if that isn't an option, and I can't get the talisman, it's time I teach you about freeze escapes. If you are not schooled in this situation, it's 10 times easier to escape. Simply wait for your opponent to freeze you, and then do your best to damage them back for a few seconds. The last thing you want to do is freeze your attacker at the very same time. You'll be stuck in a vicious cycle, so it's best when to know to cast the freeze, and when to wait and hold off for a second. Now that we have frozen the opponent and my freeze is coming to an end, I can quickly run underneath the opponent and wait for the attack timer to count down and spam click the teleport as fast as I can. Some players are very sneaky and bring mithril seeds or adamant seeds to path themselves underneath you and re-engage into combat. So if that's the case, I'm going to use this against him and walk alongside of him simultaneously and leave him absolutely flabbergasted. Let's rewind. If we're schooled in this situation, the escape could be a little bit more dicey as there's a 7-second timer from performing any teleports or logouts. Your best bet in this situation is to use your surroundings such as the trees, so that they can't hit you, and if that's not working, catch the freeze, use your very own seeds, and then go underneath him again and simply teleport or log out. There are truly so many options when it comes to escaping, so use that ladder as many times as you can, or climb that staircase that leads to another staircase, just to create pure confusion in the attacker's brain. When it comes to escaping, hell, I've seen it all. People use lockpicks to access areas I can't. Don't even get me started on the agility escapes. Most PKers don't even bother training that skill. And after it's all said and done, even if you do die, at least you did everything you could to make it that little bit more difficult, so next time they might think twice. Please do remember, even though I know how to escape, that doesn't mean I will escape. I'm probably running for my life right now, dude. I'll see you guys in Armageddon. And good luck. You'll need it.
Time for Deadman Mode's main attraction, the breaches. These bad boys are everything you could ever wish for, no matter how you play. PvMers, PKers, leaderboard climbers and point hoarders, even skillers. Okay, let's be real, skillers aren't real people, but you get my point. Breaches are mosh pits of Old School RuneScape's most iconic bosses teaming up together trying to take you down. Deadman Armageddon welcomes back some familiar faces from previous Deadman, as well as many new and exciting foes to face off against. This will bring a new life into breaches and truly test your skills. They will spawn 4 times per day, 3 of these being at set times, 3 AM, 11 AM and 8 PM BST, with the 4th being at a random time. All of these breaches can be in the original format, spawning in both single combat and multi-combat, or the brand new regional breach. Have you ever wondered what would happen if KBD escaped his lair and caught you lacking trying to chop some trees in Lumbridge? Well, this Deadman, you might just find out. Regional breaches are a new addition to Deadman Armageddon. In these breaches, bosses can spawn anywhere in a select region of the map, and it's your job to hunt them down and slay them for their rewards. This could be great for first-time Deadman players, as it's not one small hotspot filled with the best PKs trying to take your banks. If you find a boss in a field of flax, you could very possibly have it all to yourself and reap all the loot. Equally, if you're looking to dabble in PKing for the first time, you could find a target all on their own very far away from a bank, so get to hunting. If you want to find out where a breach is or how long it has left, SkillSpecs' good friend Purdue will be able to help you out with all the information you need. You can find him at the GE and multiple other places across Galanor. Now for the most important part, the rewards. From the most overpowered PvP weapons in RuneScape's existence, to nice little booster supplies, breaches have it all. If you're brave enough to take down one of the bosses, you'll have a role on the highly desired Ancient Warrior Weapon drop table. This table is home to some of the most iconic and deadly weapons in RuneScape's history, such as the Vesta's Longsword, the Zuriel Staff, the Statius Warhammer, the Morrigan's range weapons. Let me tell you, there will not be a single player who won't want to get their hands on any of these weapons, making them incredibly valuable. Trinkets are also making a return this Deadman. For those who don't know, a trinket is a drop from a breach boss, and they can be a variety of things. From an incredibly powerful PvM weapon, like a Corrupted Shadow, corrupted meaning not quite as powerful as the full thing, but it still definitely packs a punch, to other trinkets, such as the Trinket of Vengeance, which allows you to cast Vengeance without needing to be in the Lunar Spellbook. Other rewards include Tier 5 emblems, which can be used on the emblem trade at the north of the Grand Exchange to store points that are never lost on death. This can give you a quick rebuild if the worst was to happen. It could even be argued that the points themselves will be the best reward from breaches, considering every 1 damage you do to a breach NPC, you get a point. So imagine how fast they will stack up. Trust me when I say you won't want to miss a single breach. I'll see you there.
My name is PureSpam, and you might recognize my voice from my live streams or YouTube videos, or maybe on the Deadman Finals, as I've commentated every single tournament since the first one over 8 years ago now, and more recently the All-Stars event. I'm a massive Deadman mode enthusiast, so it's my pleasure to talk to you about one of the newest and most significant changes this time around. Deadman mode Armageddon will be the first time we'll have the fantastic opportunity to earn main game rewards like previous leagues have offered us. The point system is a great way to motivate us to progress through Deadman mode, even if you're not a seasoned PvP veteran. Whatever you're doing, you'll be gaining points as you progress. This includes the endgame raids, TOB, TOA, and chambers, or some easier challenges like the Giant Mole or Barrows Brothers, and a ton of PvM content in between. It's not just PvM though. Quests, skilling, clue scrolls, achievement diaries, and combat achievements all give points, and skilling in particular has been significantly improved, which makes it much more viable without having to constantly worry if there's a PKer around the corner. The points you gain for these activities are of course balanced around their difficulty and requirement, and up to a certain amount of KC, you'll start to get less points for doing the same thing, which I think gives much more needed incentive to mix it up with a lot of variety. Most importantly though, whatever you're doing as you progress, you'll be gaining points towards the rewards. Breaches are one of the premier source of points. Join the carnage 3 times a day in either single or multi-combat with friends, and with a random occurring breach every day too, for an increased massive cap of 70,000 points from this activity alone. And in my opinion, it's the most fun part of Deadman mode. This time round of the breaches, you'll have a chance for monsters to drop a unique called Chitin. This Deadman mode only secondary can be combined with a 4-dose super combat, ranging, and magic potion with an 83 herb lore requirement to create a blighted overload. This potion encapsulates high risk for high reward, adding an exciting new dimension to PvP battles, and also giving you a solid DPS increase for PvM encounters all across Gielinor. And the main game cosmetic rewards themselves? Well, the OSRS team and artists have cooked, and I think these cosmetics appeal to everybody. For the seasoned PvP veterans out there, we have the epic kit attachments for the Dark Bow, the Volatile Nightmare Staff, the Void Waker, and the Armadillo Godsword. All these weapons are synonymous with PvP, so add that extra flex when you incinerate your opponents using them. For PvMers and PKers alike, there's a new Deadman-themed spin on the classic imbued God Cape, the best in slot for magic. The cape will stand out with the iconic Deadman skull to show your allegiance to the best game mode of all time. And whether you're a PvMer or PvPer, or just enjoy a little relaxation in your player-owned house, consider picking up a lovely Deadman rug to spruce the place up. Those bloodstained footprints won't leave a mark, and warn any house invaders that they should think twice about robbing the place. Last but not least, there'll be a reward for an animation override to the home teleport spell, making it look like you're being sucked into the breaches that are, in my opinion, the most badass part of Deadman mode. If you want to plan out your journey on Deadman mode to see what activities you should prioritize based on what you enjoy in game, then click the link to the blog in the description for more detailed information. There's so many ways to gain points to unlock these rewards, so there's something for everyone, and I can't recommend enough to give the high adrenaline, high risk, high reward game mode a try. I'm PureSpam, and I'll see you at the breach.
What's up guys, I'm eliop14 and I'm here to tell you guys about the Deadman mode finale. The finale is by far the most chaotic, massive scale multi-battle the likes of RuneScape has ever seen. But we have some big changes this year to make the overall experience more enjoyable for players and viewers alike. This year, the finales will be staggered, and each individual bracket will have its own finale, and the fog will roll out at staggered intervals, ensuring that as a player and a viewer, there will be ample time to digest all of the finale fights. This also means that we'll see large-scale fights not only on mains, but also on pures and med levels as well. The fog will slowly creep in, pushing players to the finale area where all-out chaos will consume the battlefield. You're probably wondering, what do I wear to a battle of this magnitude? Multi-battles are typically about outlasting and outpositioning the opposition. So fewer gear switches, more brews and combo eats, and phoenix necklaces will be your best friend. You'll also want strong tank gear like a Guthan's helm or Carol's top and tank legs. Mage is your biggest ally when fighting in a big battle, and barraging an entire clump of your opponents is the key to victory. So sigils like the Menacing Mage for extra chip damage, Arcane Swiftness to increase your casting speed, and perhaps even the sigil of Rampart or Fortification for even more defensive bonuses. One of my personal favorites of the new sigils being introduced this year is the sigil of Onslaught, which increases the amount of players hit by barrages and Chinchampas from 9 players all the way up to 11. Breaches will also be moved closer to the finale area, ensuring that this year, having to deal with hostile bosses and monsters will play a much larger role in the fight. You might be calling a barrage pile when suddenly Kriara spawns, forcing everyone in the battle to pray range, giving even more value to the sigil of Titanium, which reduces all incoming NPC damage by 60%. If you actually manage to win the war in your bracket and are the last man standing, you'll be rewarded with the $3,000 cash prize, and that goes for every single bracket's finale. The finale will be taking place August 3rd, and the servers will open at 5 p.m. BST, so make sure you're logged in and prepped at least 10 minutes before the finale commences. It's first come, first serve, and the level 3 to 50 bracket will have a 45 to 50 combat restriction, so no level 3 skillers are going to be rocking up to the final fight. Most importantly, you're probably going to want to join a clan for the finale. There are dozens of clans in RuneScape that are likely accepting recruits at this very moment. If you want a more laid-back experience, but still want to rock up to the finale with a team and a chance of winning, consider joining Psych, my clan that I've ran for over 5 years at this point. Many other content creators like Dino, Skillspecs, SparkMac, and I'm sure many others will have clan masses live on their streams, so always consider that if you're not looking to commit to any clans, but you still want to experience the final battle with some teammates. That just about wraps up the finale. Best of luck out there, and I'll see you in Armageddon.